Welcome everybody to the knowledge-based workgroup from 10th July. We are in the middle of the workgroup call, and we just got into our close the feedback, other stuff. We are now going to review onboarding for async organizing activities document. And that is one document that is describing one step from the full knowledge-based process. It's organizing items, this one, and almost the last one, and it goes a bit more in depth of all these steps and rewards and how it's going to pan out. And this document is created because we do need to think of scaling, and that was very hard to figure out how to synchronize or like do this organizing effectively and asynchronously. At the beginning, when we started knowledge-based, we assumed we are going to finish all of this organizing in the calls themselves, and we're not going to have to review too much. But the more we did, the more we realized we have so many different views how an asset could be organized. And when we discuss through this, like different perspectives, we actually learn from each other quite a lot. So now having like multiple people going through an item and putting their perspectives and making it also a distributed way and also asynchronous, we have come up with this document. So at the bottom, it explains a bit of where it came from and like the general stuff. Then how much experience do we expect from participants? We give like the main expectation, like standard. We have a basic understanding of knowledge-based workgroup objectives. So you have to be in calls and maybe and then a special call even to learn like participate in session where we review and organize. And that is planned for the next session where we are going to have more planned reviewing. So if anybody wants to also start organizing and along this process, we have set up or at least try it. And then this is a way to join in. And keep in mind, this is not just for knowledge base. What we are doing is for entire ambassador program. And there has been talks about strategy group and what they do. Well, it was this entire work group was a strategy because we wanted to understand what each of the work groups are producing and also how can we leverage this information so that it doesn't also get lost and forgotten, and then also way to invite more like quality people who already are experienced in system designing and like building programs to the ambassador program. So steps to async process. Overview is we have like this Miro board where we like moved out of Tevo to make it faster and quicker, and there's so many like different steps and custom elements. We started using Miro board for like Kanbaning the activities to have like a view on at each stage of these assets. Let's start. Limits the current items in items to organized lane. So the first thing is like level saying how many items each person can take. So we do, even though we might have, I mean, not infinitely, but we do have a lot of items, they still need to be curated because we don't organize before we know this have to be to GitHub. So there could be some limitation of how many items they're going to be. And also the more people are part of the process, the more insightful and more like co-creative this outcome will be. So limits kind of help to keep the balance there, or at least that's our goal. And then different lanes to know the process. So we have several processes here. I think it will be described below. reminders and unplanned changes. And sometimes we have like purple stickies having like very things we are describing ourselves. These will come up in the meetings, but we try to avoid them. For now, our current two reminders on the left side is like one is how to make this like purple stickies, but it's also explained in the process below. Previously, we didn't have this doc, so the sticky notes had to do. 4 items, these are all these sticky notes that we are coming from the previous step, which is like organizing things to GitHub or like deciding what goes to GitHub. And then once we are on this board, we start assigning, then we use tags to put our names into the sticky notes to say who is organizing or reviewing. So at the end, it kind of feels like a heat map of how many people are agreeing to this location of the file. And process, and also that helps me to know who should be rewarded, because later it's also we are rewarding all of this organizing. And the process itself has 5 steps. So first one being the call, where we review organizing items. So that was the onboarding call, which is the next session. We won't do it every session, so there will be like special sessions where we keep onboarding or provide opportunity to get onboarded for organizing. And then second item is pick one item to organize. So there's like, even if the limit says you can take 2 or 3 items, take only one and then wait until you can review one item on the next step. And once you have reviewed another item, then you can take another item. So this is also gives like a slow start on the entire process, and then make sure it is still distributed. Items to be organized are in the items organized lane. So we have talked about lanes before. It is the top row. The limit is described above. To pick an item, add your name tag to the sticky note and move that item to the next lane. And so, as soon as you pick it, you put the name and you move the next, so the next person will know, okay, this item is already being organized, but it's not yet to be ready to be reviewed, because anything can come up while you're doing asynchronous work, and you might have to stop. So these are like backup steps to kind of lock in item and not allow everybody else to middle with it. There is a video how to do that. And once you are done organizing, move item to the next lane, items to be reviewed. So now identifying a reviewer, whoever wants to pick and has then done that item, pick it up and review it. For each organized item, we review one item. So each time you organize one, you can review one, and then vice back and forth. You don't get rewarded for reviewing your own item. So if you like, you put your tag, because every tag is like allows you to get rewarded. So if you are organizing it and then reviewing it and then moving it to the QA team, you then get double rewards for that. And actually that doesn't even make sense. It's more like, okay, I'm gonna push it back. Tag the item with the name you're about to review. So yeah, last up we also updated it on the Discord that we even attack the reviewed item. So not just about the review, if there is none, check back later, notify others. And also, okay, here is the step 3. Move item, then review the item. Review process is same as organizing, except now you check if you agree. When you add item, you include the national with purpose sticky. When you agree with item, you tag the item with your name. Okay, so it's added in. When you disagree with item, you create a rational with purpose sticky. So each of these possible edge cases are now displayed. Once you're done, you move it to the QA team. QA team is basically for now me. And today we will look at the work results and might find a new QA team for us. To follow the same process as usual. Yeah, and then administration, updating, color coding. So this is something I have been doing, and I can just at some point we might actually write this down too. But for now, as you can see, we have this light green color coding. But then once it's done, once I have done the QA stuff. Okay, so it's the QA stuff is separate, and then there's this color coding where I put it in the div, making sure the person is getting rewarded, or at least plan to get rewarded, and then I can move it like to a bit different screen to just notify each other that yeah, this is now addressed. So that's what is meant by updating color coding. Creating, organizing task rewards, and removing items from Kanban, updating documentation. And yeah, all of these like potential things that we have been doing so far. Live review process. So this is a process we're gonna have next week. We might update this document after we are going through a bit of practicing. So I'm not gonna. Well, actually, it is recorded, so I might just say. We don't scale our conflicts and address all concerns in our knowledge-based work proposition. We resolve conflicting views in the meetings because they are points of learning. We resolve conflicts by scaling the number of opinions and using simple majority to decide what to do with the item. Conflict decisions are documented in meeting summary and Marabot meeting notes. We record sessions when we review items to create a trail of lessons. So yeah, next session we actually are going to record it. And then when we review items, we do them one by one. So like instead of like going, okay, how do we store assets? Okay, here we have this issue, this issue, this issue. We're not gonna do it like that. We're gonna do, we have this item, Ambassador Program, and then we go, where else is this item? And then basically going through that motion. And review processes, we review all conflicts for selected item. Then we will randomly select few potential questions and review whether it was correct that the item was missing in the section. So there are things where the item exists, but there are no conflicts. So we just kind of double check, and we will randomly select few questions where everyone has a consensus on item. So another check on that. This ideally is now going to speed up because previously what we did was we were going through all of the questions and sometimes it wasn't necessary. It took the extra time. So what it's all going to be rewarded for. The average time to organize is about 30 minutes. So we have decided that the reward is going to be $5. After organizing and reviewing 2 items, you can process organizing role in Discord. And after okay, now I get it what I'm trying to say here with this double number is like you have to do 5 organizing and 5 reviewing activities. And then you are, and the same thing for here. So I'm not sure if it's clear that organizing and reviewing 2 items. So total is that actually 4 items you go through, but 2 of them you organize and 2 of them you review. This wording might need a look apart. So yeah, but once we are kind of know that you are organizer and you do a lot of them, then the rewards are double for this, which would be then $10 per 30 minutes. Again, it's not really about like time, it's more about per item. For each organized item, you can review 1 item that was mentioned before, and you can organize and review a limited amount of items per week. That's another rule that was there in the Kanban. So this is the whole process that we have established so far. Thanks for watching, and if you're interested, you know where to come.